welcome to the community. My name is Niklas and I really wanted to make this video all by myself, show you the great company I'm working for. But it's always a bit cheesy to do this when you work for a company. So I teamed up with Christian. Hi, Christian.
Hi, Niklas.
Christian, you are a member of the Shopware community.
Yeah, absolutely.
How long are you part of the Shopware community?
I would say since 2015, so 8 years by now, 8, probably 9.
Okay, that's awesome. So you know a lot of people at Shopware, you know the community, and I want you to tell people about what excites you about Shopware maybe, so that you out there watching the video get an idea of who Shopware is, what we do, how it feels to be part of the whole community thing. Yeah, Christian, what do you think?
That's brilliant, but how would I do that? I'm just sitting here in front of my desk and having a Zoom conversation with you. Any idea?
Actually, I have an idea. How about you actually travel to Schöppingen, to the little village where the headquarters of Shopware is?
You know what? That's a fun idea. So yeah, just give me a few seconds, then I'll be there. So, welcome everyone. I'll be your guide for today. Let me introduce you to people that you should know, or with things to share that you should know. Of course, there are more, but I'm quite sure you'll get to know all of them over time. When we speak about Shopware, we need to know where it comes from and who the founders are. Let me talk to Stefan and Sebastian first, as those founded Shopware about 20 years ago. And totally unexpected, both are in the office today. So, if the new community members don't recognize you yet, who are you actually and what do you do?
So I'm Stefan, I'm a nerd of the family and co-founder and CEO of Shopware, representing, let's say, more the technology and strategy aspect of Shopware. Yeah, and doing it since 23 years together with my lovely brother Sebastian.
Thank you. So probably I don't need an introduction. I'm the brother, Sebastian. I do it together with Stefan, 23 years. I'm more into design and user experience. I would say it this way, we build it up, the product, the user interface design, the technology by our own, and then growing together with the staff and with the great community up to the stage where we are today. And yeah, today we're working on it to bring Shopware more and more into the world, make it more global, and yeah, create together with the community outstanding and great shopping experiences.
Why does Shopware matter to you on a personal level? Because if half of your life and all of your adult life revolves on something you've created, I guess you're personally attached, right?
Absolutely. I mean, let's say I started the company with 16 years, Sebastian was 14 years old. So it was quite of a ride since then, to be honest, from writing the first lines of code to writing no lines of code anymore, right? The same applies to our internal team that grows to more than 450 people. We have a giant and really vibrant community out there, people that are passionate about Shopware and that like what we are doing, and that is, let's say, for me and for Sebastian, always like a very emotional kind of situation. If you see how many great commerce projects, online shops are created with, let's say, the foundation of what we have created back then and how it is adapted by our strong partners all over the world. It's really always interesting to see our reaction on, let's say, something great that is coming from the community.
And it's really great to meet the people all around the world, for example, at our Shopware community event. For me, it's all about people, the people who create the product, who build the project, and that is creating impact in the industry for the merchant and for the shopper, for the consumer. And it's always necessary to have a strong relationship with people who are, part of the community. And to be very honest, I think we as a provider or as the vendor, we can't innovate only as the one and only single provider. You need strong people, you need community, you need diversity to really go in different verticals, different directions, different projects where Shopware can create impact. And this is what is, ever evolving.
Yeah, Shopware, let's say, without all the great people, would not be Shopware, right? So it's not about like a software or a product, it's really about an active ecosystem, really a community where everybody is passionate about. It's something really important, and where everybody is really trying to help each other. So this feeling of not being alone, not being like anonymous, but being part of a really active community, that is really something that makes me proud every day.
That was interesting. What if we now go and find someone who can tell us a bit more about what's going on behind the scenes? Because Shopware is more than the application you download. Let's see Martina and talk to her about the software surrounding Shopware.
Your title is Developer Operations CRM. That means you're not developing Shopware, the product. What are you doing at Shopware?
So basically, I'm part of the CRM team, which is part of the operations department. And the operations department is responsible for nearly everything around Shopware, which isn't the product itself, so the whole software behind it.
That means you are basically building the infrastructure around Shopware as a product, right?
Basically, we're building the infrastructure to interact with us and also for our employees to interact with the community.
A community, so does that mean you are responsible for the issue tracker?
So we are responsible for running it, but not for solving the issues.
Okay, so you're not working on the Shopware core itself, but how does it feel like to work with such a variety of different teams in Shopware?
It actually feels really great, especially like in our department, we have contact to every other department. So we have really different people with different backgrounds, different knowledge, and you try to find the best solution for your common goal.
From innovations to visions, let's talk to Moritz and Daniel, Director and Vice President of Engineering.
Moritz, tell me a bit about your daily doings at Shopware.
So at Shopware, I'm responsible for taking care that we address the needs of our users with our product. So one vital part of my daily work is just talking to customers, talking to partners and also developers, and making sure that we know about their needs and their challenges and also are able to address that with our product.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Daniel?
Yeah, so in engineering, we define what good looks like for us. So it's about quality of the software, making sure that it is capable of catching the customer's needs. It's about creating a system that developers in the community, but also internally, are happy to use regarding extension systems, hosting, and so on.
You're both decision makers, right? What about the process behind it?
So in most cases, the decisions are made by the team. So we will give a general direction where we want to go. For example, that we want to enter the US market, or that we want to have or reiterate our extension system. But how we do it and what does it look like is something that is answered by the teams, and they might reach out, for example, to the community to understand what the actual needs are of the developers to further improve our solution.
Cool. Moritz, how does the community impact the decisions made at Shopware?
As I said before, it's important for us to really address the needs of our community with our product. And so it's vital for all the people that's shaping the future of the product to speak with the community and get like their ideas on where the product should go, what their challenges are, and also what they see as challenges in the future. So we have a lot of people out there speaking to the community, like its developers, merchants, whatever, and making sure that really they are shaping the future of the software together with us.
Speaking of the future, where do you see the community in 5 years?
So I think the community will even be more important for Shopware, because we want to grow, obviously. We want to enter markets like the US. We want to have new offerings in place. And there's a lot of things where we want feedback from the community, and where the community will have a bigger role in the decisions we are making. Could be about app system, for example, extension systems in general, about how to host and to run Shopware, how to professionalize Shopware with regards to hosting.
Another part of Shopware is the Shopware Cloud. For Jens, a software engineer, I picked a special location for the interview.
What do you think of this interview situation?
A bit spacious.
And this?
A bit close.
How do you like this room?
Perfect.
Jens, you're part of the cloud infrastructure team. Could you tell me a bit more about the cloud?
Sure. With Shopware Cloud, we basically built a new way of running Shopware. So Usually you had to do the hosting on your own or choose a hosting provider. There's now the option to get that from us. And it also has the benefit that we are gaining a lot more insights and experience because we have to run it on our own and can optimize our software even further. And of course, all this knowledge flows back into all editions, not only to SaaS or PaaS.
So with the Shopware Cloud, you are solving multiple problems at once. Is this a general theme at Shopware?
Exactly. Here at Shopware, it's about finding solutions for real-world problems we see out there that our community faces.
We already talked to a lot of people who create Shopware. Now I want to introduce you to Julia and Aaron, who take care of innovations.
I did hear about something that's called Innovation Lane that is existing at Shopware, and you both are working there, right? How can I imagine such a thing?
Yes, the Innovation Lane is new at Shopware, and we created this Innovation Lane because we want to speed up a bit more innovative things and features. It's a bit of restructure in the product development, and we want to make sure that we deliver fast and innovative features, and with a special team, and hope that we can deliver really cool new AI Copilot or other topics like 3D spatial features.
So that means Innovation Lane is a special team that's there to drive the innovation when it comes to the product development at Shopware, right?
Yes, exactly.
So me as a developer, how can I test these new innovative features?
Yeah, sure. As you know, there are in general several ways to participate in the development of Shopware. Might it be via GitHub, might it be via user voice, and so on. But for these features, we are currently building up a special program. We don't have a name yet for that program. But with this program, we want to make those prototypes accessible, so you can take a look under the hood of the prototypes and give feedback or develop them further. And of course, we want the community to build on these innovative features, other innovative features. For example, we are currently building the basic spatial commerce features into the core of Shopware. So the handling of 3D data, the management of the data in the administration, as well as the display of 3D data in the storefront, as well as augmented reality capabilities. And we will publish it, of course, and then we want the community to build on those features, for example, utilize the 3D data and build features on top of it.
It's time to talk to Michael Telgi Telgmann, a veteran at Shopware and the one who is, or was, responsible for ending the era of Shopware 5, the version that made Shopware a legend.
So Telgi, awesome that you're here today. So when we did prepare for this interview, you told me something special about you, right?
Yes, I'm working at Shopware for almost 10 years.
And you're not the only one with 10 years at Shopware, as far as I know. So I guess you've seen a lot of things at that time at Shopware, right?
Yeah, indeed. I was there when we developed Shopware 5, and which was a rewrite of the whole storefront. And I was also there when we started the development of Shopware 6 from scratch. And right now I am working on maintaining the legacy version, Shopware 5, until its end of life in July 2024.
So you did witness quite a lot of changes and architectural challenges.
Yes, Shopware is around since 2000, and as we are working in a high evolving industry, we need to adapt to new technologies, to new framework versions. And also, although we had to adapt to all those changes, we try to be as stable as possible, but sometimes we need to make a cut and start from new, like we did with Shopware 6.
That was a lot of development topics, but the success of Shopware has other facets too. And you know what? I'm always wondering.
For me, as a developer without any experience when it comes to product design, how can I imagine what you are doing at Shopware?
That's a fantastic question, because I have absolutely no clue on how to answer that on point, because there are so many details involved in this whole process of building up an e-commerce system, building storefronts and the administration, for example. There are so many people and factors involved that basically every day is different, because the stuff in e-commerce changes really fast. For example, now we're talking about AI stuff. Implementing AI into our software is a great challenge, but it comes all down to the details, working on stuff to make it work seamlessly for the end user, make it feel a bit like it's magic. Like, you know, there's so much stuff out there where in the daily use of, for example, your mobile phone, it just works. And that's the magic behind product design, basically. It should just work.
What's the foundation of your success?
The foundation of the success of Shopware is the synergy between great designers and great developers working together. And ever since Shopware started as a company, we have the principle in place.
From behind the scenes, straight into the core of Shopware. I picked a few developers I want to introduce you to.
So we have Ollie and Sona, who's known as Shyim, right? So what are you doing at Shopware? What's your role?
Hi, I'm Sona. I'm working since 8 or 9 years with Shopware. I was before working in an agency, and since 5 years I'm worked with Shopware 5 in the core team, and now I'm working in Shopware 6 in the core team, and I'm adding new features, fixing developer stuff, and I'm very active in the community in Slack and GitHub.
Yeah, hi, I'm Oliver. I'm working for 12 years now for Shopware, so nearly inventory right now. I'm right now as a core architect and trying to evolve the system always, improving the dev experience with our software, implementing cool stuff like the Dangl or Elasticsearch, and always try to make the code a little bit better each day.
For those who do not know Dangl, what's that?
It's called the data abstraction layer and allows the devs easier access to the database and extend our data.
So speaking of the community, what is your relation when it comes to the community and the people in there?
Yeah, my relationship to the community is really special. You know, it's like it evolved over the years because I'm a developer and optimizing the code and trying to evolve the dev experience, and they are my customers. I'm always happy to see them at conferences or our booth day and conferences and talk with them about our software. And with their feedback, it's much better for us to evolve our software, improve the code, and make a much better experience. And yeah, that feedback is so important for us because they are also clever developers outside which have the use cases and consume our software. And so that's why it's really important for me to meet the community always.
Before I worked for Shopware, I was already for 3 or 4 years already in the community active. Since I work for Shopware, I'm still active in the community, very active. So I'm very active in the Slack, GitHub, and so on. I also do a lot of in my private time, in my free time, with Frosh. Frosh is Friends of Shopware. It's like a group which we started, I guess, before 5 years or so on. It's a group of developers which makes great plugins in their free time and wants to share it with other devs. So we are also in the community store, and everyone can make a Frosh plugin and submit it to us.
So for the younger audience, what's IRC?
IRC is Internet Relay Chat. It's like Slack or Discord, but it's very limited to text. We don't use it at Shopware anymore, but it's still around.
I did hear that both of you are working on the very foundation of Shopware. So foundation, what does it mean?
Foundational work means for us, in our department, we develop features which are not customer UI facing, it's more developer facing. So we improving the code, make it easier for us, for developers to work with our software, improving public APIs, and improves the scalability of our core.
Okay, but is there more than the core?
Sure, there's more than the core. It's the storefront, it's the composable front ends, it's Elasticsearch bundle we provide. We have Frosh tools, we have Shopware CLI, and we also have an administration and sync APIs and really much different components. in our system.
Foundation means for me also like to be future-proof, like with Vue 3 update, or like with the next PHP minor version PHP 8.2 we already tested in our pipeline, or also like developer tools like our DevEnv setup to work with Shopware locally.
And what is DevEnv?
In DevEnv you can declare your web server in a configuration way and it magically spawns the environment for you. It's running completely locally and it runs in any operating system.
It's a wrap, and what a ride! Thank you so much for joining me on my trip through Shopware. Welcome to the community and welcome at Shopware.